everyone. This is Eba Singh from India. I really welcome all my viewers to Stars of India show. And today we have from United States of America, Molly Faulkner. Good morning, Molly.
Good morning.
How are you? How are you, Molly?
I'm doing well, thank you.
And we are really very nice to have you in our show.
Thank you.
Okay, so just moving towards the profile of the Molly. Molly is bridging continents locally since 2006, and she has been recognized for her commitment to the community and as one of the best business in the states of California. She has been always a very courageous lady. Her journey of life from the childhood to the top level of the position where she is today really inspires every female. Molly, I would really request you to give us a brief introduction about yourself.
Thank you. So I'm in California at the moment. So I was born in Cambodia, and in the mid 1970s, Cambodians went through a very tumultuous time, and all of us went through the Khmer Rouge genocide, where over 3 million people were systematically killed. Um, and of course, I've lost my mother and siblings and families, but we were rescued by the United Nations High Commissioners for Refugee in the 1980s. And so in 1981, when we were in a camp, my father picked a lottery. They said you need to pick a lottery, so we didn't have enough space for people to get into the plane. So my father picked the lottery, and we won a chance to be saved and came to the US. So in 1981, we came to Boston, Massachusetts, and my father then moved us to California, where I am living since.
Oh, that's very nice. So, Molly, can you just brief about your career? How you have planned, how you have structured, and what are the difficulties and the decision making which has helped you out in reaching where you are today?
When I first started out in real estate, it was in, once again, another tumultuous time. Our nations and the world went through the 9/11. I was working at the Ritz-Carlton company back then, and I was laid off, fourth cut, skeleton crew. So I had no choice with very little savings. I said, okay, I'm going to have to do something else to make money fast. So I saw the little newspaper, about 5 lines, and it says, we will train you, and we can't pay you, but we'll train you to, to learn real estate, and if you're interested, come. And I did, I called, and that's how I got into real estate. The first thing I did was they gave me 30 pages full of names and telephone number, and they said, here you go. This is what you do. You call and find to see if people are wanting to buy a home or sell a home. So every day I would tackle 1,000 people. So I'd go through 1,000 names and numbers and start at 9 a.m. Every 2 hours, I would take a 15 minutes break, and then 2 hours later, I'd have lunch, and I start all over again. So by the end of the day, I have about 10 interests. And with those 10 interests, I just do some research on their home to see what they have and what they would like to do, and make an appointment and go see them. So from then onward, and then now here 15 years later, I am working in an international platform and an international level.
That's very nice, very inspiring journey. So, Molly, do you think women entering the workforce now are better off than women who started working when you did?
women in the workforce now in compared to, I didn't hear the last part.
I'm saying that women entering the workforce now are better off than women who started working when you did.
Actually, every generation, every time of our lives have um, challenges. Every year, everyone goes through different challenges. So I wouldn't say that it is better then or better now. I think we all have our cross to bear, our challenges, especially women who have young children at home and having to figure out which is important, bringing the bacon, bringing the money, or take care of your family first. So I think every generation and every time frame has its own challenges.
Okay, that's nice. So, Molly, how did you balance your job with your family life and your volunteer work, your hobbies, and other interests? Did that balance change over time?
Yes and no. When my father was alive, every Wednesday we have Daddy, Daughter Day. So every Wednesday, and I would spend the whole day with my father. So we'd go start with breakfast, and we'd go for a walk, and he can do his exercise, and then I would interview him for my life story, how I came about, where I was born, and all of the family tree. So I got to understand my father through Daddy Daughter Day for many years. And it's just unfortunately he passed about 3 years ago. So but yes, Wednesday is the day, and so what after he passed, what I did was, you forget to spend time and take care of yourself. So I set up a time. So it could be a Friday, or a Thursday. I would make time to go and stay over with my other family members, so that we can stay the weekend together. So that's how I rejuvenate myself and clear my mind, because family is important. Um, at one point, after my dad passed, it was not easy for me, so I just kept working, 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 but realizing that I wasn't going anywhere. So I had to rethink, and with that came, spending time with my, family members.
That's very nice. So, is there anything, Molly, you wish you had done differently in your career? And are there any job opportunities or careers you would have liked to explore?
I I don't have regrets. I've come a long way, but there are many career paths that I was given an opportunity, but I feel that I wasn't fitting into that square box, you know. So Molly is adventurous, so I thought, let me just continue doing what I do best, and that is customer service, and it's on a one-on-one. So I have a friend. I got in an elevator one day, and she said to me, "Molly, you are very eccentric." So I came back home and I said to my other family members, "What does that mean?" They said, "Well, because you are not fitting into that little square box they want you to be in." But yes, I've had opportunities to work with big companies, but I feel that I had to learn about myself, and I feel that I have an ability to go forward on my own, and I have the ability to succeed. So that's who I am.
That's very nice. So, when you started working, what are the challenges and what are the initial, boundaries being a female which you have faced?
Um, this that's a hard question, but I feel that we live in a society where it's male dominated. So at times, because of my background, being raised Buddhist, you were brought up differently. And of course, the male counterparts is always going to be first until they do something. that's unimaginable. You can't go forward, like hurting you or something like that. But it it's a double-edged sword. Um, I work very well with everyone, and I'm very proud of it because I feel that communication and mutual respect is what will give you the leverage because everyone's want respect, and if they don't get that, of course, you're going to go in with the wrong foot.
Okay. So when you started working Molly, so what that intention in the mind of gaining money or something else
When I first started into this business,
in the business?
are you asking what was the if you can ask the question again, I
See, there are many intention when people start working, or they, especially in the for the female ones. So there are some females they work to get a social empowerment. There's some females they want to reach at the top of the place, and there are some who wants to get more and more money. So what was your intention to get into job?
for what I do, my biggest reason and my biggest why is my family. And
Okay.
so what I do, it's not for money, it is for legacy's sake. So I've carried on because my two main family members have passed on. So I've decided to carry forward and carry the torch, just sort of say, in an Olympic. So I carry forward and do the best I can to set my own legacy, to make my own legacy, and make it a responsible one, and also could be memorable when I'm gone. Something that's positive and maybe be able to help young ladies along the way. And that's was my goal, and that still is my goal. And I, I'm very proud of myself that I feel that I'm doing a pretty good job in carrying that and being positive and putting your right foot forward, even though there are many um, barbed wires that through life that I could go into, and I'm just blessed that I am where I am here.
That's very nice. Molly, any incidents of your life which has affected you a lot?
Well, besides the Khmer Rouge that I lived through that genocide, I know what starvation is. I know what unkind is. I know what death is. So most recent in the past 5 years or so, I've lost two very main focal point of my family. My husband, 24 years, and my father, and they passed on now. But when you lose two major in your family, and I'm the only one left, besides my sister, um, it is very difficult. So you figure out, you want to continue on. What is your why? And once again, I had to go and find myself and figure out what is my why. So my why is once again set and make your own legacy and keep going, no matter how many times you stumble. Yes, I've gone through a lot of barbed wire, so to say, and I keep going. And if you're positive, you keep your smile on, and I'm I'm doing that. And not only that, but I've encouraged others who were are in my situation, because nothing makes you think twice than to learn that death is everlasting and it's forever. But for those who are alive, to enjoy your family and have those daddy daughter day with your family as much as possible. So that's uh, that's my point.
That's very nice. I'm really very inspired for Daddy Daughters Day. So one thing more, Molly, that what would you recommend to young person, especially to young females entering in your field,
Young female entering the job, the work.
entering in your field?
Um, find find yourself, find out who you are, what you are capable of, what you want to do that is righteous, that is that is good for you, that is good for your family. Don't do it because someone tell you to do. Do it because you know you can accomplish it, or even if you can't accomplish it, do it anyways because you will surprise yourself and get there. That's what I would like to say, and because that's how I lived all my life so far. Because I'm well known as a um, let me see, not a rebel, but a person who takes great chances, takes large chances, and I do. I do because I know that I can make it. Even though I most of the time fail, but you know what? When you fail enough, you will come around and you will succeed, and that's how I feel. And I've been blessed so far and made many wonderful friends along the way.
That's very nice. So, Molly, now moving towards your childhood time, how was your schooling and your school environment? What was your feeling? What was your impression of for those days?
Are we talking about the childhood that I've had before I came to the US?
Yes, yes.
I only remember one good time, which was spending time with my grandmother on a train at about 5 years old, and I learned that was the time I learned why people learn to do import exports, and I was watching things happening in the train as I was with my grandmother. So I learned the process of doing business at 5 years old. So that was the only good memory. Everything else was has been very difficult, and I still have vivid bad memories because of the Khmer Rouge. I saw a lot. I saw a lot of unkindness and a lot of death. So when you see that, life every day is golden. My father used to say to me that when we came to America, that America is heaven. So we're given a second chance to be in heaven. And so with that in mind, I try not to think of the past too much. Sometimes you have to recall it so that you can teach the younger generation that life could be bad. You just have it good here in America.
That's right. So, Molly, who are the most inspiring people in your life? Who has inspired you a lot?
Well, besides my late father and my other half, I have two women that I look up to. One is from the very past. Her name was Kathryn the Great. She was the Empress of Prussia. And what inspired me about her, she's one of the first businesswomen in history. And at a very young age, she was taken from her very small land, principality, left her father and mother behind, and brother and sister, had to go to another country, change her faith, her religious faith, and then got wedded at 16 years old. So with that, she learned as young as she was to surround herself with those who are knowledgeable of the world. So she surrounded herself with scholars, with those who knows how scientists, for example. So she's one of the one that I really admire in the past. She's one of my great one. The most recent I'd have to say is our Mrs. Hillary Clinton. So in 2004, 2008, when she was running for president, she didn't win, but showed all of us that we too can reach and crack that hard glass ceiling even though we don't always succeed, at least we have bits and pieces to show us that it could be one day. So for me, two women, one in the past and one in the present, is very important because I feel that um, having a mentor, they're not my mentors, but I sort of take it that way and learn from them to avoid the negativities, especially from Mrs. Clinton. Avoid the negativities and the things that's going on. I mean, she's been put through the ringers, and for her, I feel bad. But um, it's once again, it's a male-dominated society, and we have to live it. So we have to do the best that we can to move forward and not retreat just because they say you shouldn't do it. As long as it's legal, as long as it's good and positive, keep doing it.
That's very nice. Molly, we are always surrounded with some toxic people that will, their words, their reaction, and their impression will always set you back in the light. So, how you are able to cope up from those people?
Um, you know, I meditate a lot. So what I do is I take deep breaths. I go to a place, that is what makes me happy. So I have hobbies. So my hobbies is putting my butterflies together and do arts arrangements or flower arrangements. So find something to do that you enjoy, and it actually wipes out all of the bad stuff. So it's very important to look after yourself. It's very important to set yourself first when you come into the negativity, when you come into judgments, because you're not that way. But we can't stop people from saying it. And just because people say things to hurt us, it doesn't mean that it's going to end. We just have to keep going, and we just need to control ourselves. And how I control myself is going to my art.
Hmm, that's very nice. So, Molly, being a female, when you started your journey, your career, and now where you are at the very topmost position, how you will express yourself?
Ooh, I keep on trekking. I just keep going. I don't see that I've succeeded, or I don't see um, that I'm there yet. So I just keep moving, and hopefully one day, you will be there and you will know it. But for now, I keep going.
That's very nice. And how especially women should take their decision that they can make their self in every possible situation in a very positive mood.
Are we talking about women who are not having a good life now?
Right, right. I'm talking about them.
Um, Unfortunately, women are made for men and men are made for women. So we have to work together, but there will be certain points where the abuse comes in, or the things that are bad happening. Of course, you have to remove yourself, but you need to just make sure you don't give up and keep going. But most of all, I feel that women should always have a girlfriend or a mentor, either the same age or older, someone that can talk to them and understand and reason. I think when you have that camaraderie, it will help them to continue in their course of life, no matter what age. So having a good friend is very important, or a colleague that you can talk to.
That's very nice. Molly, since I belong to a country where women's always have a very tough boundaries, no matter what the position they reach. So, to those women, can you just give them a very positive note?
Yes, well, I come from Cambodia, so my background is almost exact same as the women of India. We were raised very much the same. But I'd have to say, with the influence of the Westerners, being here in California, I've learned to balance the two. So seek counsel. Don't keep things to yourself. Um, don't make your other half unhappy, but also know that you have to do what you have to do to succeed. But do it righteous way, do it the honorable way, and keep going. And that would be the only thing that would help you propel forward, and you will have a good conscience going forward.
That's very nice. Usually, there is always a scenario that women are not able to take their own decision. When they are grown up, their parents are taking their decision. Then after that, hand over to their husbands. Then again, kids. So, how a female should manage all these complex scenarios and build up her own decision?
Um, that is a tough. That's a tough one. Coming once again, coming from that background of being in Cambodia, a lot of my uh, friends, a lot of my relatives are still in that scenario. Very difficult for them to be subservient, to stop being subservient. But I feel that if they have to change according to time, but give it time, a little at a time. So instead of fighting, instead of raising your voice, I feel that reasoning is best. And I can give you an example of my father and I, because I'm a rebel rouser. I'm a middle child, so I am. So what I usually do is my way of thinking is very outside the box. So my father would say, "You are thinking like a man, and that is not being feminine." And I said to him one day that if you had a chance or if you had a choice, I would have been born a man, but because I'm not, I am able to help a man, which is my husband, to leverage, to be a leverage. It's not because I want to be here. It's because we could be together, and when you walk together, you go further, and that's how I feel, and that's how I lived my life in the Western world. Otherwise, I was raised very Buddhist, and you know what that is like. I mean, it's the same as in India. It's not different. It's just that I'm fortunate to be in America, and I've learned, and by working with big companies, you learn the Western way of thinking and to balance, to leverage.
That's very nice and very inspiring too. So, Molly, here we are coming towards the end of our show. So, I'll just request you to give a very positive, inspiring message to all the female, all the women.
Well, I thank you for inviting me for an interview. I am just like you. I'm, I'm working hard. I'm doing the best I can. Um, always strive, always never give up, but find a pal, find a good friend, someone you can talk to, someone you can balance your thoughts. There's a saying that I always live by: when you get mad, when you get angry, you lose. So when you play golf, it's the same thing for men. When they get angry and their mind is all cloudy, they will not shoot in the right way. So we have to think before we react, and we have to go forward. Don't give up. But first of all, find who you are, what you're made of, what you can or can't do, can or can't accept. And then you set your own path. And when you do that, no one can take that away from you because it is between you and God.
That's very nice, very inspiring, and highly motivational. Thank you, Molly from California. You joined us our show, Stars of India, and for sharing your, very incredible life journey. This is really going to motivate every female who always have a perception or a stereotype in the mind that yes, we are born in a set of boundaries and we have only limited line and limited row of success where we can go. But you have really proved that there are no such boundaries. It's all about your capabilities, your positive attitude towards the scenario. And
I'll do my best.
thank you very much, Molly. Thank you so much, all the viewers and all the viewers who have commenters for the show. We'll come again with another inspiring stories. Thank you so much for watching Stars of India.